Let's start a new band.
I'm bringing a little class. I actually wear a tie.
Well done. Political Party Scoopers. It's time to chat with these guys.
I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You know,
Craig just put something in perspective during the break, and I was hoping you're going to go see who today?
Marco Rubio at 9:30.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz at 11:30. Carly Fiorina in the afternoon. Then Trump tonight in Iowa City.
That's all one day. Now, folks, you get a little bit of this in New Hampshire, but this is it. These are amazing opportunities for folks in Iowa and New Hampshire. It's fantastic that you can do that in one day.
In one day, and I don't backtrack one bit.
Yeah.
you're just making a loop.
Let me
just
tell
making a
you-
loop.
Just
let me
making a
tell you
loop and
little
doing all that.
I ran for Congress in California, and to do that, that's 6 months of visit, maybe 2 months on a really good swing. That's one day in Iowa, so lots of driving.
Getting real close to the caucus, obviously less than a week away, and we are down to crunch time. Last night, center stage, the
Those
Democratic candidates. What did you think? How did you think that everybody did?
Well, I think it was a really cool kind of event, having that format, a week before the caucuses, kind of giving equal time to the three candidates on CNN. And the questions were great, too. It was from real Iowans who are going to caucus. A lot of them were undecided. Some are leaning towards candidate. But really good, informative questions. I think everyone did really well. I think as in terms of who had the most to gain, I think O'Malley did, because there's a whole group of people out there, millions of people who have no idea who O'Malley is until last night. So he probably had the most to gain. Bernie and Hillary did really well. I think they tried to make some distinctions between each other. They showed an ad to, a Hillary ad to Bernie and a Bernie ad to Hillary, just to get their take on it. And that's when Bernie he stood up, as he tends to do, and kind of starts roaming the stage. Basically says, look, I'm not against Hillary Clinton. I think that she is a good leader. I think that she has lots of good qualities, but this is why I'm running. This is what I stand for.
That was a really interesting moment. Speaking of Martin O'Malley, I was there at Drake last night in the media room. Kathy Obradovich wrote this morning was probably O'Malley's best performance so far of the run. So yeah, it was really interesting. And when they showed Bernie the Hillary commercial, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do the reverse. So I thought that was a really interesting way to do it.
But do you think O'Malley has a chance of even being in the running of this, or do you think it's just a two-horse race, so to speak?
He's still polling at 4%. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think he'll do better than 4%. I think he'll surprise the people, because there are lots of O'Malley supporters out there that aren't quite as vocal and maybe energized as a Sanders supporter.
But for the Democratic side, you're wondering to yourself, well, why in the world would he even participate if he's polling that low? Because in the Democratic side, unless I'm mistaken, somebody's going to get those people before it's over.
It's precinct by precinct. So there will be precincts where he'll be viable. There'll be some where he's not. There'll probably be some out there where even Hillary or Bernie may not be viable, just depending on, because it's such a small
By viable, you need a certain
15%.
number to be considered.
Yeah,
but those people have to go somewhere, don't they?
Unless if he's viable, you can have three viable in the room. But if he's not, then they'll be siphoned off.
Okay.
And he was asked last night, I think it was his closing question. It was, you're polling pretty low. Where do you want to see your people go? If you're not viable, where do you want to see it go?
Yeah.
And he had, I think it was a really strong response. He obviously didn't say go to Hillary or Bernie. He just gave this really good answer about staying strong and staying, kind of loyal to what they built in Iowa.
Yeah.
See, people want an answer, though. They want either Hillary or Bernie is what they wanted.
But he's running for president. Yeah. There's only 3 candidates. That's why you don't drop out. There's not an open cast. So his deputy communications manager was at my house the night before the last Drake debate, and I grabbed her. I said, you guys can't drop out of this race, because they're going to come in third for the Democrat nomination. It's the same thing. Like, the person running third is probably Rubio on the Republican side. He's not dropping out.
Okay, well, who finished third last time? So you don't remember. See, that's just
Howard Dean.
No, it was Clinton.
There's a fair point. Yeah, one time Hillary Clinton came in third.
Yeah.
So third with like 28% though.
So what's going on over on your side of things? You've got a busy slate today.
Yeah,
obviously.
we have a debate in the middle of this final week, on Thursday, and so. All the campaigning is really hot and heavy now, and then they go off for debate prep and to rest up before the debate on Thursday. So, as someone who covers the race, you get a little bit of a break on Thursday because the candidates are off the trail, and so. It's going to be interesting to see, does Rand Paul make the main debate stage?
Last night they said, his campaign said they would, based on this latest Iowa poll, but I don't know if is that right?
Yeah, and then the Quinnipiac poll this morning shows him, I think, 5th, and so it should help him get on that debate stage. which is significant. So
I chatted with him for the show about his strategy last time when he wasn't on. He didn't show up, and he tweeted, and he goes, Brent, I got better coverage than had I shown up in the undercard. I was at Rubio yesterday with Senator Ernst introducing him. I thought it was interesting that she makes an explicit statement, I'm not endorsing in this race, but then has a glowing introduction of him. And has she been introducing other candidates? 'Cause I haven't seen her introduce anybody else.
no, but I don't understand why she's not endorsing.
Right,
I mean, when you look at it's Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and the guy who helped you out significantly in your primary, the person that you're a colleague with, that you work with in the Senate, is in third and could use a bump, just endorse him.
It would make sense to a lot of people.
Well, yes, and I think, in Iowa, especially on the Republican side, we look at this and say, well, Branstad and Grassley act one way. They're unique. I mean, they're institutions. I mean, and Branstad doesn't endorse, but he winks and nods at us.
He's against
He'll tell you who not.
Don't vote for this guy.
And Grassley introduced Trump at a rally over the weekend.
Question. What do you think about Grassley introducing Trump? Is that just like Ernst introducing Rubio?
Yes, everything is significant in Iowa. Jeff Kaufman introduced Trump and Muscatine. And so the thing is, clearly not an endorsement, but it's a sign that says, I'm okay with this guy.
Yeah.
Because and
It's a sign of support.
It is a sign of acceptance, and you're communicating, whether you like it or not, it's okay to vote for this person.
Well, and also juggling schedules, getting in the room, being available to stand in front of a microphone before a candidate. I don't know how you don't call that an endorsement. Senator Ernst's words yesterday, I was in the room. I am specifically not endorsing. I want to be a good host for all the candidates. But you are there and you are speaking glowingly about somebody. I don't know what you call that.
And that's why you should just endorse.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is if she caucuses, everyone's,
They're going to know then, too.
Yeah, just say, I think we all know who she's going to vote for.
Yeah.
So just say it.
Yeah.
And I think Rubio could really use the help.
Yeah.
And I think a spark. And so I don't know. I think it's, if I was providing her political advice, I'd say go all in, do it.
Yeah.
Why not? Nothing to lose, no downside for you.
Her press secretary is a wonderful person, Brooke Haugesson, and I emailed her right before the event yesterday, and I said, will she be taking questions about her endorsement, just assuming she's there introducing her, and she sent back this can. This is not an endorsement. It's not an endorsement. We're not doing questions. It's not an endorsement. I was like, well, okay.
But I did the same thing you did. So she ran into a reporter a day before or so and said she's not endorsing anyone. Then I see she's introducing Rubio, and I'm like, hey, last minute endorsement. Makes sense here.
Both of their speeches yesterday, it was right over in the space next to Buzzard Billy's called Forte. Yeah, there we go. It was all about their middle class upbringings, which I thought was interesting. And Marco made a point of referencing her. Remember, she did the State of the Union response, and she talked about the bread bags and shoes, and he talked about
Sam
that as
loves
well.
that, by the way. Loves that story.
And what it was talking about is Marco Rubio. His upbringing, apparently, he didn't have a lot of money for footwear either. But it was actually a
He does now, though.
So,
touching moment.
You get into politics, the lack of footwear might be the
Real
path.
quick,
Yeah.
Rubio said something. He goes, as of 3 years ago, I had $100,000 in student loans. As of 3 years ago, he goes, the book sales, and he goes, and it's available on paperback. It was actually a great little moment for him. So anyway, caucus is less than a week away. Participate, Iowans. Only 25% of eligible voters caucused last time. So get out and caucus. So they can't say that Iowans don't show up to caucus. Get out there and do it.
All right, so before we go, I want both you guys here. Here's a piece of paper. Here's a piece of paper for you.
And this is what an actual ballot looks like on the Republican side.
Yeah, caucus, what it looks like. I want you to write down who you think is going to win the caucus.
I'm going to do this like Jeopardy when you kind of look like you're writing something else.
You don't have to, but I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to fold it. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. I'm just going to, for our own conversation
just our side,
and
right?
discussion next week at this time. So we'll see how you guys
I'm doing Democrats,
see how you
too.
do. Yeah, do both. Do both. Who do you think will win both sides?
Interesting.
And we'll take a look at that.